Play Anarchy on the beat.
Hey PJ, where you at?
I'm right here, man. This is PJ, referee.
This Shutterworth, the GOAT artist, Soul Wars, representing that Ring Gang Radio. We break down fights, not contracts.
This is the eye test.
This is the eye test. Ring Gang
Radio. This is the eye test.
Yes. What they do, PJ?
Oh, not much. Yeah, I'm always in the undisclosed location. Just managed to pop out of the manhole for a little bit just to talk some boxing.
Yes, sir. Groundhog Day.
Ain't that the truth? Jesus.
Oh man, so we ain't hit these niggas with a eye test episode in a minute, man. So what you trying to get on, man? Get it off your chest, bro. What you want to talk about?
I want to find out, there's always a case of, we know that everyone has their favorite boxer. They want to emulate some stuff with it, and I understand that too. But at the same time, why don't they realize there's, tons of footage of other skills they can learn? Maybe your favorite fighter might not be good in one field. You could go somewhere else and check this other guy. Why does it have to be a big name? Some of those guys that you don't know in the undercard might be a really good skill. Hell, even those journeymen, they have a ton of experience. They know shit, but people don't want to look at them.
Facts.
So my question
I can respect that.
Yeah, so I'm I understand the fact, it's the person who's active now, which is definitely something, especially if it's some guy who managed to get to a level of success. So if you're the person in the sport, you saw that person started from nothing, got there too. But the problem is, are you focusing on what they did to get there, or are you just looking at that end goal? Almost as if people don't realize, that saying, you gotta crawl before you walk and you gotta walk before you run.
True.
What you think?
I actually agree with you 100% on what you're saying. And you know me, I'm old school, long time boxing fan. I've seen a lot of boxers come and go, start their careers. And there's in every era of boxers, there's always going to be a few that people just be attracted to for whatever reason: the style, the swagger, the knockouts, the physicality, whatever reason. And a lot of people like to emulate what's on the top, at the top. Even back in the day, shit. I want to be like Mike. Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Everybody was, that was your little nickname on the court. I want to be like Mike.
Yeah.
And people do it with boxing. You see it now. Guys want to be like Floyd. Guys want to be like Ward. Riggin Diao whenever he's fighting and he's active. So people always want to be the most skilled. So I agree with you, but I feel like if you're just only looking at the top level, you're only gonna see things one way. And if you truly trying to level up, I feel like you should look at the whole mural, the whole wall, not just what's in the corner or to the side. Boxing is, one of the oldest sports, the oldest martial arts in the world. Got a great storied history from not just this country, but, Europe, overseas, everywhere. So you got to look at everybody to really try to learn everything. Can't learn everything from one person.
Yeah, like they say, styles make fights. Maybe this one region has this certain style. You'd be like, yo, what's this one or two things that I can pick up? Because maybe it's another way how people want to approach picking up stuff. So say for example, when you decide to tell somebody, yo, watch this fight. Most of the time when they watch that fight, they have the commentary on, the crowd is going, you hear maybe you see something there and it's flashy, crowd goes nuts, or maybe Jim Lampley has a heart attack and screams his ass off, those kind of things. So you get caught and distracted by this. So usually I tell people, I'm like, yo, just have it with the sound off, so then you start to pay attention to little things. Other times maybe they don't know what exactly to look at. So usually what I do with some people I've worked with and some of my students, I'm like, if you want to start watching footage of pro fighters, I say start off by watching their feet. It will give you the story of what they're probably going to do for the rest of the fight.
interesting. And you know, a lot of things come from the footwork in boxing and the stance.
Mm-hmm.
You have good footwork and your stance is correct, you could go a long way in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least pick up the fundamentals a lot quicker than, you know, if you try to approach it a different way.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you on that.
Exactly, because there's also like what would you tell somebody to like look at right away? Like if they're new and they're like starting to watch footage, what would you tell them to look at?
First of all, I would really tell them to look at the foot. I'm good with the footwork. Like I agree with the footwork.
Yeah.
The footwork, but the next thing would probably be the jab. Like they're punching.
Mm-hmm.
Like are they turning? Are they, you know, putting the right amount of force in it? Are they turning their punches over?
Yeah.
You know, the stance. That's the most natural thing. Because honestly, when I teach boxing and I show people, I always start with the stance and the footwork. Like as far as when we get to defense, I don't even go into the whole slipping punches and blocking yet. I go to pivoting and moving the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Cause a lot of times if you could defend yourself with your hands down or behind the back if your footwork is on point and your pivots are correct. So if you could get the footwork on point on the defensive aspect, then shoot, you could become a master if you apply that foundation of footwork and you go ahead and say, all right, now I'm gonna have my hands up correctly. I'm gonna learn to slip, roll punches, parry, block. And then you can start blocking punches different ways. You know, you got the cross arms like a Kevin, apology. I'll go say Kevin. Ken Norton.
Kevin Norton.
I know. It's like, damn, Jay. But even George Foreman did that. You got the shoulder roll. You got that the turtle. You know, high guard.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to know all of them. And like you said, a lot of the old school fighters, a lot of the guys on the undercard, the guys who didn't become champions, those hard-nosed veteran Glenn Johnson type of truth machine warriors, those were the guys that had those solid foundations where you would see certain things that you might not see a guy at the top level, because usually a guy at the top level has some type of attribute that kind of takes him over the top. They'll have like crazy power or crazy speed, and they get away with shit that a guy without that couldn't get away with it. So his skills foundation has to be on point, because he doesn't have blazing hand speed or one punch knockout, turn the fight around power.
Yeah.
So, you know, you gotta watch everybody, man. Like you said, you have to watch everybody. And as far as the commentary with boxing, I fucks with you. I'm kind of half and half with that, because I feel like if you know what you're looking at and you learned how to, you know, look at both fighters and be objective, commentating ain't gonna mean shit. The only thing the commentating might annoy you when they seeing some off the wall shit or they just cheerleading. I mean, then it's like, oh, motherfucker, what fight y'all watching? But if you know what you're watching, you know, comment. I'm not one of these guys where I gotta put it on mute and all that, but I could understand if they're first getting into boxing and you don't want them to get a tainted perspective. So yeah, I would agree with you. I'm like half and half with it. Like I agree with you on that.
I usually just prefer without sound, because to me it just like becomes like an annoying distraction or annoying background noise, because there might be something where I might have been looking at something and then all of a sudden I just hear that, oh my god, and I'm like, oh, what? And so I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So my immediate response is like, yo, I should see what's going on. Then I'm like, oh my god, the guy sneezed. All right, so he did the equivalent of sneezing. So I'm like, okay, let's get back to what I was watching. And the other thing I also like to do is, when I'm watching certain things, I also try, well, this is my own personal way, how I look at it. When I'm watching footage, if there's something that interests me, I try and like chunk it down to like maybe 10 seconds or 5 seconds of footage, and then just watch it again and again. Because then I get to see How exactly did he do it? Watch it again. How exactly did they get into that position? Watch it again. But that's where I just get extra like meticulous and detailed about things.
Damn. See, me, I don't mind the commentating when they're hyped and it's a good fight, because then I'm in enjoyment mode.
Yeah.
And the commentating over the years is honestly, I felt a lot of these commentators, they're toting an agenda. So it's not really entertaining anymore. It's more like they're selling you something in the future.
Yeah.
Shit, and it's like back in the day, you know, when Larry Merchant would, you know, say one of his one-line zingers and you're watching a fight, it's like, you're like, okay, goddamn, like, you'll laugh and then okay, yeah, nigga still throwing the uppercut on the inside.
I'll give Larry Merchant his props for that. He is good with those like one-line zingers, but it was also kind of like that. Even when he was younger, it was still like that old man. Well, he threw the stone and skipped across the road. I'm just like, you know what? You're old, Larry, so I'll leave it be.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes you need that if a fight, you know, ain't that interesting or entertaining.
Yeah. You mean like that one, like that one Jobber to the Stars video I showed you?
Oh my God.
Jobber Coliseum.
I was like, yo, what is this nigga doing? This fucking Jobber tryouts. I was like, what? I was like, yo, I gotta ask him the reason for this, man. but like you said, and like the subject of the show states, how we was talking. Even then, I'm looking at it because you told me like, yo, let me know what you think of his jab and his movement, and just to bring it around to the subject at hand.
Yeah.
You know, this guy, I ain't gonna say his name, you know. He was a guy up north in, what was it, Montreal or Canada, Quebec?
Just Canada. Don't worry about where exactly it is. Just Canada. That's all, all they need to know.
Because I know some people be like, nah, nigga, Montreal. No,
we don't need to disclose locations.
Yeah. The dude was a Canadian boxer. Fight was about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And you could tell he had some type of decent skills, but you could tell he was stagnant, and a lot of shit he was doing, he was only getting away with it because the guy he was fighting was worse than him. But the thing is, the commentator was making it sound like he was watching fucking Sugar Ray Leonard Olympic tryouts or something. Like I'm like, oh my goodness, like, dude, this is a jobber fight. Like, let's be real with it and just say what it is. Dude's footwork was decent. He was circling, but he was heavy-footed. He was on his heels. And a lot of times, a dude could lock you up if he has some good footwork and he could get inside real quick because he forced you back on your heels. And if you already on your heels, he throw off your balance. So I could tell, like, this dude is so used to being on his fucking heels and not be on his toes moving around. If anybody came in there aggressive, they would have really got in his ass. His jab, but you feel me, right?
Oh yeah, no. I was saying, like, yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say, like, I bet you he probably would have appreciated if somebody actually did that to him at that time.
Yeah, exactly, and it comes back to, like, boxing. You want to see the best fight the best. You want to be tested. You want to see how good you are, and that's with anything, man. It's like boxing is like one of the most competitive things in the world. And of course, if you take it serious, you're gonna get to a point where, like, damn, how good am I?
Yeah.
Could I be a contender? Could I be a jobber to the stars?
Can I leave the Coliseum?
Can I be a star? Can I be the jobber of jobbers? And yeah, and this is no disrespect, because I know niggas that say, like, yeah, y'all motherfuckers, talking shit about jobbers, tomato cans, all. And look, there's levels to this.
Yeah, and if there's anything, is a really good aside, even though they might be called tomato cans and jobbers and things like that, bet this, they also have had to take on fights with all those top guys you see at the top. They were the stepping stones. So if anything, they have a ton of experience. So if you come in there not coming with the skill that they're like that overwhelms them, they will embarrass you and if not lay your ass out.
Exactly. And don't think that you see a jobber, somebody, an elite guy beat a jobber's ass, and then you see him the next week at the bar, and you're like, oh, I can kick his ass. No, because that guy's had rounds and rounds of experience fighting top level guys that's way better than him. So don't think that you throw your little sucker punch or you start shit with him and he's just gonna fall down, or you saw an elite guy beat his ass, so you think, Joe Smo down the block could kick his ass. It don't work like that. Cause that jobber is still levels above the fucking actual fucking regular nigga on the street.
Yeah. And also just to reel it back to, there's also that thing that we were talking about, like, there's the fighters you idolize. And I think it's fine that that's the case, but I think also people need to realize, like, yes, you can idolize them. Yes, you can learn stuff from them, but you can't be them. You don't have the build, you don't have the same like structure, or you don't have the same amount of time they put in. Like, think about that time, like, for how long, because it's been generation after generation. How many people that came out saying, I want to be like Mike Tyson, and then they try and do the things what they think Mike Tyson does. Then they go up against just the person who knows boxing enough, and they get jabbed to death.
Yup.
Or somebody's just like, I want to do the shoulder roll like Floyd Mayweather, and they do it from like outside range where you're not supposed to use it, so they get peppered by 1-2s all night.
Yup. And they don't have a stance correctly. I've seen niggas try to square up and use the shoulder roll. I'm like, the fuck?
I've seen it.
How you square it? Like, I've seen Birdo do it. I've seen Guzman do it. That little shoulder roll, and he kind of squared up. It's like, people don't understand the shoulder roll is easy to do if your footwork and your stance is correctly, meaning you're standing with a half target stance. Mm-hmm. Your shoulder is already pointing toward your target. Same thing with your feet.
Yep. Your feet, your hip, and your shoulder are all pointing at the target.
Yes, exactly.
And then to finally complete the shoulder roll, just turn your hip. Not turn your shoulder, it's too wide. You're gonna swing over, so you turn your hip, so it's just a simple close the door.
Yup.
But everyone's just like, oh, I want to do it as quickly as I see it on TV. I'm like, you realize these guys are drilled it and been beaten so many times that they just know now how to sense it and do it by a split second.
Exactly. It's a lot of goes into this shit, and that's why I always tell people, if you love boxing, you a fan of boxing, if you got the means to it, go to the gym, go to your local gym, train for a couple months, know what it is to train and throw punches and get punches thrown at you. You'll have a deeper understanding and a respect for the sport.
I would also just quickly add, because it can happen sometimes, you could say like, I'm there to learn to box, but they might just think you're just some regular person and they'll just make you go through whatever. Maybe if you just tell them like, I just want to learn the basics. Because at the very least, if you're specific to like the coaches or whoever's there, they'll be like, oh, so you actually have an idea of what you want to do. Not come in there and be like, I want to fight. That's like the last thing you want to do going into any.
No. Hey, hold on. Disclaimer. Please. PJ and Shutterworth. It's a message from PJ and Shutterworth. Do not go to a gym thinking that since you were like the Al Bundy of your high school with football, or you was the wrestling captain or whatever the fuck. Do not go in there thinking you tough guy and you know in the hey, I want to box. When can I spar? Because you'll get your chance, and usually they'll embarrass you. They'll either give you the toughest guy to fight, or they give you the worst guy, but the worst guy is still levels above your ass.
Mm-hmm.
And who wants to get whooped by the worst nigga in the gym? So please humble yourself. Come in there with the glass empty, not half full, not quarter, not a sip. Empty, bro, and learn, man, and watch boxing. Don't just and watch boxing as well. Like you got to do it at the same time. When you come from the gym, you done training, go home, watch some fights. You got YouTube, you got thousands of fights at your fucking fingertips.
Yeah, do your homework.
Not just the top 10 guys. Don't just go looking for. Don't go to Ring TV and look at the pound for pound list and be like, all right, shit. I'll watch all these guys. These the best boxers. Because you're not gonna learn everything from watching the 10 best boxers.
Pages of boxing.
Yeah, you just not. And the thing is, there's
Speed now.
styles. Yeah, exactly. There's styles in boxing that aren't represented at the highest level.
Exactly.
So
The other
that's
thing as
what
well
you're really
is
missing.
they also got to realize, like, okay, there's sometimes, like, yes, the person might have the skill, but like you were saying earlier, they might have that, like, that extra speed or that extra athleticism and things like that. Sometimes you got to realize, hey, I may not have it. You know, there might be a guy in the top list up there, and you know, it might, what they might be just doing is just basic boxing. Use that.
Yeah.
Or even then, like, if your coach, you know, is willing to give you the time, or there's somebody, you know, who's willing to, like, you know, sit down and, like, listen to you, what you want to do, they might say, like, okay, you kind of have this kind of build. To start off, watch this person. Or, hey,
Right.
you're like a guy who scraps on the streets a lot, so your hands are kind of like this. Try and take a look at this guy, but I want you to look at this. That's it.
Absolutely. And that's if you have a trainer that's worth his damn gym bag. I mean,
That's true. That is true.
if you got a solid trainer, that's the shit he's gonna be telling you. And we just preparing you for that. So, you know, watch everything, because, and you know what, it's not just, and you could blame the coaches and everything, but boxing media, you know, I'm gonna put a little blame on boxing media too, because you know what it is? A lot of them, they do the same thing that the amateur and novice guys do. They cheerlead the top guys, and they always putting their videos out. They don't have a love and appreciation for the whole sport. So they just keep shoving the same fucking highlight videos down your throat. Keep writing the same articles about the same fucking fighters. So that's all you know. Like honestly, you scroll, if you a boxing dude on Instagram and you follow boxing accounts, count how many times you'll see a fucking Floyd Mayweather highlight video or some shit throughout the week. Hell, throughout the day. And this nigga's retired. Oh, okay, he might be coming back, whatever the fuck. He got 50 fights. Okay, cool. He an all-time great. He a top 50 fighter. But Floyd wasn't the best in every fucking category. You can't learn everything from watching Floyd. But if he's promoted like that, then people fall in line. They see his highlights all the time. They scroll through Instagram. How many times we gonna see fucking Mayweather beat fight Marquez, or the Hatton, or the little Canelo fight? I mean, there's other boxers out there that are just as good as Floyd throughout history that we need to show appreciation to and promote and pull out there so the new generation of fans can see.
Yeah, I'll also add this as well, because like we're using Floyd because he's like the one he's gonna get his face shoved in your face. You're gonna see him get shoved in your face all the time. So this will apply to any time where you see somebody, because you'll see it with some boxing pages, and I understand they're supporting and things like that. But when you give some of these fighters, and even they might even cringe to it, you give them these crazy ass titles like the God of this. I'm like, yo, even that fighter would be like, yeah, just stop that. Just like watch the highlight stuff with a pinch of salt. Hell, even look at who they fought. See what that other guy and what their fights were leading up to that. For all you know, you might realize, oh shit, I'm similar to this build because I'm gangly and long. So maybe I should watch this dude.